All right, this is 13-3 video. So we're going to continue with quadratics, but we're going to learn another way to do them. So we're going to do it by factoring first. I need to set this equal to 0. A question we had in class, or that was discussed in class, is we want to make sure that this is positive. We don't want a negative leading term if we can avoid it. All right, so my sum is 2x, my product, negative 15x squared, so negative 1 and 15, there's no 2, negative 3 and 5, no 4, and then I already have a 5. So negative 3 and 5. So I'm going to put my first term here, negative 3x. My second term here. My lead term and my last term. Factor it. So I have x minus 3, which I will set equal to 0. X plus 5, which I'll set equal to 0. Add 3 to both sides. X equals 3 is an answer. Subtract 5 from both sides. And x equals negative 5 is an answer. So, question is, what happens if I can't factor it? What if this is as far as it can go? How can I find those two x's? So we're going to learn another way to do it. This way is a lot longer. So if you can factor it, that might be a quicker way for you. But it's called the quadratic formula. This formula is given you on your mathematics chart, so you don't have to have it memorized. So you're going to want it in a squared plus bx, my ax squared plus my bx plus c equals 0 form. So when it says 0, I want these to be in order. So we have our a, our b, and our c. And then we have this crazy formula. So I'm going to show you how to work this formula. So first of all, this is not set to 0. So I'm going to move that 15 over. All right. So a is the coefficient for x squared. And remember, there's an imaginary 1 here. So my a is 1. B is 2. And c is negative 15. So now I'm going to take that formula and switch to pencil, just because I don't want to make any mistakes. So x equals minus b. That means the opposite of the b. So a positive 2 is now going to become a negative 2. Plus or minus, we'll talk about that in just a minute. My square root. B squared, so my b is 2, so 2 squared, minus my 4 times a times c, so times 1, and my c is negative 15. And all of this is over 2 times a, and my a is 1. So first off, you have to be sure you have your a, b, c correct. Then being able to then plug it in correctly takes a little bit of practice, but in class students, after doing it a couple times, they were good. All right, so let's go ahead and start solving it. X equals, we're not going to do anything with that front term yet, plus or minus the square roots. All right, 2 squared is 4. Some people kept this as a subtraction, so we'll keep it as subtraction. And then I'm going to do 4 times 1 times negative 15. 4 times 1 is 4, times negative 15 is negative 60. I have a minus, a negative, so I'm going to go ahead and add a line change sign. And all of that's going to be over 2 times 1, which is 2. Continue. I still have stuff under my square root, so I'm going to do negative 2 plus or minus 60 plus 4 is 64 over all of it over 2. So this is where it's going to, let's go one more step. Negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 64 is 8 over 2. So this is where it splits. I'm going to do add, so negative 2 plus 8 over 2. And then I'm going to do my subtraction, negative 2 minus 8 over 2. Negative 2 plus 8 is 6 over 2 is 3. So one of my x values is a 3. Add a line, change of sign. Negative 2 plus negative 8 is negative 10. Divided by 2 is negative 5. So there are my two x values. All right, let's look at another one. All right, it's already set to 0. That's good. My coefficient for my x squared is going to be a 1, so my a is a 1. My b is a 7, and my c is a negative 12. So I'm going to take my x equals minus b, so negative 7, plus or minus the square root, it's a long square root, b squared, so 7 squared, minus 4 times a times c, divided all over 2 times a, so 2 times 1. Now some students went ahead and just put a 49 here and just went ahead and put a 2 there. That's okay. All right, so let's work out what we can. So negative 7 plus or minus the square roots. 7 squared is 49. Also, some automatically went add a line, change of sign, which is okay. So add negative 4 times 1, which is negative 4, times negative 12 is just a 48. All over 2, 2 times 1. So negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 97 over 2. This is where I'm going to split. So I'm going to do negative 7 plus the square root of 97 over 2. And I'm going to do negative 7 minus the square root of 97 over 2. All right, this is when our calculators become pretty helpful. So I do it as the fraction. So I'm going to do negative 7 plus the square root of 97. Just be sure if you work this out that you put parentheses for your numerator if you don't do it as a fraction, or if you do it piece by piece that you do your square root, then add your negative 7, then divide the total by 2. Just be sure you're putting the calculator in correctly. So this is about 1.4. I'll show you how to do this one without it. So I'm going to do parentheses without doing it as a fraction. Wrong button. Parentheses. Negative 7 plus the square root of 97. And that whole thing will be divided by 2. Oh, I just did the same exact problem. But look, I showed you that you had to do the parentheses, which is nice. So let me do the subtraction one, sorry. So I'm going to do negative 7 minus square root of 97. And then I will divide that by 2. And I get about a negative 8.4. So those are my two solutions. All right, let's look at the next one. So what I had students in class do today is go ahead and see if they could find the A, B, and C, and see if they could go ahead and plug it in. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to see if you can find your A, B, and C, and see if you can do the plug-in part. Before you go ahead and work the whole problem, be sure you can do that, okay? So pause, push play. When you push play, we'll go over it. All right, so hopefully you tried it. So this is set to 0, which is good. So my A is a negative 2. My b is a -4. My c is a 3. So x equals minus b. So the opposite of what I have. So I have a -4. The opposite of -4 is just a +4. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. So -4 squared is 16. Oh, let's go ahead and plug it all in. Some people in class we were doing that a little bit. Minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times -2. All right. If you would like to go ahead and try to solve it on your own now, you can go ahead and pause and push play, and then I'll go over it. All right, so whether you decided just to keep going with me or decided to go ahead and try it yourself, that's okay. So 4 plus or minus, let's take care of that square root. -4 squared is going to be 16. I'm going to go ahead and add a line to change sign to make it plus. -4 times -2 is 8, times 3 is 24, over -4. So 4 plus or minus 40 over -4. All right, so then from there, I'm going to do my splits. Okay, I will split there. So I'm going to have 4 plus square root of 40 over -4. And I'm going to have 4 minus square root of 40 over -4. This one equaled about -2.6. And when I subtracted, it equaled about 0.6. And those are my two solutions. All right, so I want you to go ahead and try number 5 completely by yourself. So I want you to pause this video and I want you to push play when you have done the whole thing, and then we'll go over it. All right, so it's not set to 0. I hope you caught that. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to 0. So I have a 6, a -3, and a -7. X equals, so I learned this formula through a song. So I'm going to sing the song as I do it. Don't make fun of me. I know you're probably going to giggle, but that's okay. X equals minus b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Hey! Work what I can. Work out that square root is what it is. So 9 minus 4 times 6 is 24, times 7 is -168, which will end up being add 168 divided by 12. This should have been a 3. I'm sorry. Finish it up. 3 plus or minus 177 over 12. This is where I'm going to split. So I have x is going to equal 3 plus the square root of 177 over 12. And I've got the x equals 3 minus the square root of 177 over 12. When I work them out, I get that 3 plus the square root of 177 divided by 12 is about 1.4. And 3 minus the square root of 177 divided by 12 is about -0.9. So homework tonight is the next page. Again, you don't have to have this formula memorized. You do have to remember where the A, B, and C come from. This part is not given to you on your STAR test. Just this is given to you. So be sure you know that. You have the homework, and then tomorrow we'll go over 13.4. No homework tomorrow, but yes, homework today. If you have any questions, as always, text me, message me, whatever, and I will answer you as soon as I can. All right. Have a good day.